And again, what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and watch the video. If you need me to pause it for any reason to get caught up on notes, I have pauses built in. But if they are either too long or too short, let me know. And also definitely let me know if you can't hear it. So let's see here. Go ahead and include my sound. And go find it on Schoology. Hopefully will work today. Good morning. Thank you for being on time. Let's go ahead and start with our table of contents. Could you hear that, Elise and Mila? Okay. Do I need to turn it up? Do I need to turn it up, or is it okay?
No, it's good.
Thank you. Remember just to let me know if anybody needs me to pause it for any reason. Share my screen here. That one. This one. So depending on the day you're watching this video, it is either May 3rd or May 4th, and we are solving systems by substitution for our second day. Today the focus is going to be, obviously it's not May 3rd or May 4th anymore. What is today? Today is May 6th. So in your table of contents put May 6th. Okay, onward. Be more around what happens when we go to solve our system, but there's no solution or infinitely many solutions. How does that look? And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple examples, and then cohorts, let's see, A will be in school this afternoon. So when you come to school this afternoon, your main job is going to be to make sure your journal notes are complete. I'll have some hard copies, or excuse me, the sub will have some hard copies for you that you can use. And then if you've done the try it, great, you can check your answer. But if you didn't get a chance to do the try it yet from last Thursday or Friday, you will have a hard copy that you can do in class. And make sure you understand the concept.
So obviously that was for Monday, and I just wanted to pause and take the time to say thank you so much to Cohort A. Mr. Reese gave you a huge thumbs up and said that you did your best and did a lot of work on Monday afternoon. So really appreciate that. The way today is going to look is we'll watch this video, and then this afternoon all of us, A, B, and C, will be doing the exact same thing, which is doing the book work on this lesson. So make sure Cohort B, you bring your textbook with you to school today, and cohorts A and C, do your best on the problems at home today. And I'll have my computer up, so if you get stuck on something, you can try to ping me either through Teams or email, and I'll try to get back to you. I think I'll be able to today because we'll mostly just be working on our homework problems in class, kind of getting caught up on when I was gone. Okay, onward.
And then you'll get some extra substitution practice that you can do to continue to work with these types of problems there with that as well. In fact, if you want to bring your textbook to class today, you could do that instead of the extra practice substitution problems. Whatever you feel will be most beneficial for you. I'll leave directions for the sub that you can work on. Either the try it, or if that's done, you can choose to do either the extra substitute and just document in the classwork documents to print folder, and you can use it to take notes on if you want, or you can just set up your journal as follows.
So again, that was a big old long-winded explanation of what all the cohorts were supposed to do on Monday afternoon, and that day has passed. So today, Thursday afternoon, you'll just be doing your book assignment for lesson 5-3, which you'll see at the end of this video. Okay, onward.
So for the first example, let me move this up a little bit. For the first example that we do, you can just go ahead and write all of that information on the left-hand side. And the second example we do, you can write all that information on the right-hand side. And again, our goal is just to see how systems of equations looks when there's no solutions versus infinitely many solutions, versus what we've already practiced last Thursday or Friday, one solution. I'll give you a minute to get that all set up.
So yeah, so today we're going to do example 2 and 3 from the book. And as I had said, well, you didn't hear me say because I fast forwarded that part of the video, but basically there is a document that I could have given you to print, but instead I think it's easier just to set up this place in your journal to take notes. So hopefully that's what you're doing right now, is getting your journal all set up to take some notes.
And then I will go to the document that's in your documents to print folder, and we will take some notes. Since this is a recording and not live, I'm not 100% sure if you have your journal all set up yet or not. Maybe if you need more time, I'm not sure how it would work, but potentially I guess you could pause the video, or maybe the sub can. This is an experiment. Sorry to be gone, but we had plans to be out of town for a long time, and it just Just worked out that we came back to school together, which is great, but it makes it a little hard to try to support you when I'm not here. So I think this video will work out okay though, because we're kind of just doing the same process we would do if we were live together. I just can't take live questions, but your sub probably can. I'm not sure who that person's going to be yet, but they can feel free to try to answer some questions for you.
And remember, today we are actually live, so, if you need me to explain anything over again, I can. And that said, raise your hand if you need more time setting up your journal, and Elise or Mila will let me know. Anybody raising their hand, Elise or Mila?
Yeah, a couple of people are.
Okay, I'll just let the video play then, and hopefully that'll give you enough time.
Get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the classwork documents to print, and if you have it printed and want to write your notes directly on it at home, that's great. If you don't have it printed for whatever reason, you can make your notes right here on this page you just finished setting up. So let me see if I can, well, no, I'll leave it like this. I think you can see it. So example 2, Psycho takes that sounds funny. Takes pottery classes at 2 different studios. Is there a number of hours for which Seiko's cost is the same at both studios? I think I mispronounced it the first time. So what are we trying to figure out here? We're trying to figure out if there's a number of hours for which Seiko's cost is the same at both studios. So we're really trying to figure out if there's a solution to this situation. If there's a place where the X's and Y's are going to be equal, at least for one moment in time, right? So how do we do it? Same steps as last Thursday or Friday. So let's walk through them. So step 1, define your variables. That's kind of messy. Maybe it'll be better if I type that part. I'm going to try to type whenever possible, because it seems like it comes out a little better on these Word documents. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, and we'll put it in blue. See? There we go. Down one. Okay. All right. Step 1. Define your variables. And it didn't come out exactly like I wanted, so let me doctor it up a little bit. Bigger so you can see it, bold and blue. Okay, so what are our variables here? Well, let's look at these little advertisements. So it looks like there's a rate per hour. So the number of hours you might be in the studio could change. And it looks like there's going to be a changing cost. So we can also kind of see that in the final part of our question, right? So like we talked about this a lot so far, but we'll continue to talk about it. When you're trying to figure out what the variables are, look at what you're being asked to find, number of hours for which cost is the same. Right there are your clues, number of hours and cost. Okay, so let's go ahead and say that we will oops, that poster down too much. Okay, let's let x equal the number of hours, because that's pretty much the independent variable, right? Like however many hours you do your pottery is however many hours you do your pottery. We'll have costs, going to depend on how much you're in there. So cost of using the studio, that can be our dependent or y variable. So that's step 1. Step 2, just like last Thursday and Friday, is write your system of equations. So I'm going to just, it's a little bit bigger and blue. And this one I'm going to try to write as neatly as I can with the stylus. So let's see here. Make our little funny bracket. And then we'll go with, we'll abbreviate the community pottery. We'll call it CP. And the private studio we'll call PS. Okay, so for the CP studio, cost is $14 per hour, and all the clay is included, so there's no plus or anything like that. It's just $14 per hour. Done. That wasn't so bad. How about the private studio? The private studio, well, let's be careful here. It says $28 per hour plus $15 for clay, but if you look down here, it says if you bring this coupon, you get half off. So let's go ahead and go y equals half off. Half off of what? Half off the whole entire cost. So when it's half off the whole entire cost, we might have to put something in parentheses here. $28 per hour plus $15 for clay. So that's a pretty tricky equation. To be honest, the first time I did it, I actually didn't see the coupon, and I just wrote $28 per hour plus $15 for clay, and then I got an incorrect answer later on, and I couldn't figure out why for a moment, but then you guys know how I can see, well, I saw that it's a half off, and so I went back and put the half in there. Okay? So I think I'm going to go. So at this point, I hope that in the journal page that you had all set up, you wrote down your variables, let x equal number of hours and y equal cost, and you have your equations written down. Because I don't think that I ever did put this document in your classwork documents to print, as I say in the video that I did. I don't think that I did. So you should be recording this on that spot in your journal that I had you set up. Okay, go ahead and, well, let's just go through the process, right? Let's not skip around. Let's stick to the process, Miss Rudy. So we have now, we're going to be on sometimes it's hard to get the cursor. I'm still on that, that's right. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and do step 3. In step 3, we've been saying last Thursday and Friday, we've been calling step 3, write one equation in y equals form. But if you already were here last Thursday or Friday and you did some of the extra substitution practice, you probably saw that sometimes it's easier to solve for x than for y. So let's change this step slightly and say solve for the variable that is easy. Maybe easiest. Okay, so even have to worry about this because it's already done, right? This is solved for y and this is solved for y. So this step is done. So I'm just going to put a little check there. Go back to the draw menu. Done. Okay, so let's just go ahead on to step 4. So our step 4 was to, let me make sure I say it just right. I'm trying to stay consistent here. Let's just call it substitute into other equation and solve. Smiley face, because I know some of you dread this step, but you're getting there, so don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. Okay, let's see if I have any room here. Not much. Let me move this triangle way on down. That tells me that before I make this document available in your folder, I'm going to need to make sure there's plenty of room for you to write. So I'm going to make that make some room. Okay. Move it up. Go ahead. I'm going to substitute and solve. So I think I want to, this might look kind of weird. I don't think we've done a substitution like this before where both the equations are already solved for one of the variables, but it's actually kind of nice because what's going to happen is you're going to take this 14x that you know y is, and you're going to put it right there for y. And I know it's on the other side of the equal sign and everything, but that's okay. It's going to end up looking kind of familiar, I hope. It should look like those equations we solved in Topic 2, Lesson 4, way back right around the first couple weeks of January. And if that's too far back to remember, don't worry, you'll get back used to it again. Okay? So now it's substituted in, right? The substitute we'll say is in purple here. That's been done. So now to solve it, I'll go back to black. And we want to get rid of the parentheses first, right? Split our sides. I didn't do that last Thursday and Friday, and I think that messed with some people. And then distribute. And that just means you multiply what's in front of the parentheses to everything that's on the inside. 14x plus 7.5. So at this point, truly, I'm going to finish this problem, but at this point, I want some light bulbs to go off, some red alerts, okay? Where you're saying, oh my gosh, this is going to be no solution. How do I know that? Well, picture, however many hours you go to this studio, you're paying $14 an hour. However many hours you go, that same amount, right? Because X doesn't change in this case. These X's mean the same amount, say 10 hours, okay? You're paying 140 here and 140 here, 14 times 10, 14 times 10. But this place over here, the private studio, is always going to be an extra $7.50 because of the dang clay. You're always going to be putting that clay in there, see? So basically, it should work out to be no solution, but let's pretend we didn't notice that, and let's just go on with our steps of solving equations. So here we are with variables on both sides of the equal sign, which we do not like. So I'm going to move these x's over to the left as per our habit we developed over the year. And what happens? That weird thing happens where these both become 0. So this 7.5 comes down, but is that true? No, 0 is not the same as 7.5, so that's why it indeedly doodly is no solution. So this, the private one right here, this one, right, will always cost more. Okay, they'll never be equal. So if you're writing in your journal right now, you may be wondering, Miss Rhodey, what should I write down? You wrote down a lot of stuff. I would probably write down the steps. Even though you might know them by heart right now, it doesn't hurt to write down all this stuff in blue. Certainly this. Certainly your system. You could maybe, yeah, you might as well write this down too, even though it was done for us. And this, yeah, I guess you kind of have to write that all down. It's pretty much all important. Maybe you don't have to do the orange. How about that? That's not sparing you a lot, but it spares you a little. So I'm just gonna, I'll come right back to this, but I want to pop over into the meeting and just see how much time we have left. This, I can. No, it's not letting me click here to go back to the Facebook. I think it's okay. It says 36 minutes, but I don't think that we were recording the whole time. So I'm going to go on to the next example, and if for some reason it doesn't work out, I'll just record it again. Okie dokie. So let's go on to the next example, but first I should give you a little bit more time. So let's say, I think that we're currently about 20 minutes in, so I'll give you like maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we'll do the next example, and that'll be it, and you'll be off to do whatever it is you're going, well, you'll be off to your next period classes most likely, unless this is 6th period, and then you're going to need to, make your afternoon plan, and I'll reiterate what that is at the end. Reiterate just means say again. And if for some reason it wasn't enough time for you to get down what you want, this will be in your journal pages. And also, I think this will be positive for you if you're watching it alone. You get positive for yourself. Okie dokie, let's keep going. So I'm gonna scroll on past the try it. If you want to try it on your own, that's fine. But I'm going to go past it. Example 3 on the next page in case I move on. So example 3 is a little bit simpler, because steps 1 and steps 2 have been done for you. There's no real life situation with this system. I mean, there might be in the textbook, you can look and see, but I don't think there is. I think they just want you to see how it looks when it's infinitely many. So there's a spoiler alert. It's going to turn out to be infinitely many. So here's where one still is. Sorry. That'll work. So yeah, so you can write the steps if you want, but I think I'm just going to come over here to the side. Let me get a blue color going here. And just say steps 1 is like not applicable because there's no real life situation, so we don't have to define y and x. And step 2, writing the system, is done. Okay? Step 3, solving the equations for one variable is not. So let's go ahead and do step 3. And I think this is one of those situations I was just talking about. I'm not so sure I want to solve for y. I think maybe I'm going to solve for x. And it looks like there's a typo here. Let's see. Is there? No, I guess there's not a typo. This is just different from the new volumes version, which is fine. It should still work out fine. But I'm still going to solve for x just to kind of demonstrate how that works. So let me go ahead and try to rewrite the first equation solved for x. So solve for the variable you think is easiest. Okay, so here we go. -2, oh, I should do it in a different color, sorry. -2y minus 5x equals -26.7. Sorry, I'm at school and they're doing some sort of crazy work out there. Okay, so I'm going to split the sides. And I want to solve for x, so I'm going to add 2y to get rid of that y from the left-hand side. And it's gone. And then all of this comes down. So we have -5x equals -26.7 plus 2y. Okay. Now I'm just going to divide everything by -5. Let's see what we get. X equals, let's see here. My handy dandy calculator, because I haven't actually solved this one yet. This is not the one I thought it was. But it's fine. I'm sure it'll work out fine. And if it doesn't, well, that's good learning experience too, isn't it? 26.7 negative divided by -5 is 5.34. And then I think I'm going to change 2/5 to a decimal because that's a nice decimal. 2/5 is 0.4. So I'm going to say minus 0.4x. Excuse me. Around, right? Okay, so now we need to substitute and solve. Substitute and solve. So I'm going to put x up here beside that 30. So I'll hope you can see what I mean here. I might have to zoom out just a tad. And then I can always zoom back in after I'm done writing. Okay, because I want you to see that what I do right now is I go ahead and I start rewriting that second equation just as you see it up there. 30, but then instead of x, I'm going to write what we just found out x is. 5.34 minus 0.4y plus 12y equals 160.2. Okay? So now I'm going to multiply what's in front to everything that's inside. So that's where I need my calculator again. So I have 30 times 5.34 is 160.2, and then 30 times 0.4 is minus 12y plus 12y equals 160.2. Okay? So you might right now be thinking, uh-oh, I think I see something suspicious here. It looks like things are going to disappear, and I'm going to have one of those situations where I'll have to decide if it's no solution or infinitely many solutions. Okay? So we're going to combine like terms, and we're going to go ahead and say, okay, negative 12y plus positive 12y is just 0. So that's gone. And now we have 160.2 equals 160.2. But that's true. So when that happens, what that tells you is it's the Grand Carlo trick all over again. This is a situation where these are the exact same equations in disguise, and boy, were they ever. I honestly didn't know if that was going to work out. Those were very different looking, infinitely many solutions, but they were the same exact equation. So any x and y pair we put in will work in both of them because they're the same line. Okay?
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. If I can.
So let me give you a little bit of time to get that written down.
There we go. Now I think I can. And go ahead and tell you what your homework was. I think you probably knew that this was your homework from the sub. I'm actually not 100% sure. Yes, Ava, I see you have a hand up.
I was gonna say, can you go back in the video because I didn't see the top of equation or of example 3.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I kind of copied down like half of it.
Okay, let me go ahead and just type the homework into the chat real quick and then I'll go back. So page 284, and I think the sub probably told you this, and maybe you already tried to do it, I don't know, but maybe it was hard without this lesson. And I really want you to double check your answers, and I'm not sure the answer keys in the resource folder. I'll put that in as soon as our meeting ends here. But make sure you check your work. Check answers in red resource folder before submitting. If you already submitted it for some reason, you can still just go check your answers. And you need to try to have this done by Monday, because on Monday we're going to play a substitution game for our third day on this lesson. And then your homework on Monday is actually going to be to start a review for a test on this topic. So put that in the chat, and then if you got what you needed, you can probably start heading out because there's only 4 minutes left. But let me go back to the video for Ava and for anyone else who needed to see more stuff. And I think I do have a copy of this somewhere that I saved when I made this video that I can put in the classwork documents to print folder. I got to get all that set up today because I thought I was going to have internet where we were going, but I didn't, so kind of put me behind a little bit. Ava, is this what you needed to see?
No, like if it's possible, like scroll up. I don't know if that's. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, because the NA just means not applicable because this one wasn't paired up with a real life situation. It was just focusing on the math part, making sure you knew how to do the steps. And just remember, cohort B, make sure you bring your textbook to school with you today. And if for some reason there are people in cohort B that are done with all of this work already in your textbook, you know, I can have some extra practice problems for you to do. And if there's anybody at home in cohorts A and C who are all done with all this bookwork already, because maybe the sub gave it to you on Monday, and you would like some extra practice work on your Sabbath, just email me, and I'll make sure you get that before the end of the day today. Otherwise, everybody in the whole class is working on these problems, 4 through 17, on page 284 to 286. And thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for trying to watch the video. And I'm sorry it didn't work. I will have to be out of town again in June, but now I know how to do it, so you'll be able to watch the video by yourself then, no problem. At least I learned. So, anyways, that's all. Good to hear your voices, and it'll be great to see some of you this afternoon. And off you go to second period. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Has your interface for teens changed?
What's that?
Your interface for teens?
Yeah, mine has.
Same.
Because
Not like
I restarted my computer last night, so now people are on the side in little circles.
yeah. I didn't restart mine, but it's on the side now.
I learned about this in first period, and apparently when I present, like, my name will show up at the, or like my face will show up at the top, and then whatever I'm presenting will show up at the bottom, I think.
Yeah. I prefer the old interface.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's one of those projects where they keep trying to do new things, but it was like perfect 2 updates
Yeah.
ago.
It was like the last thing was good, but then they changed it, and it's not as good. So
Like I liked it better when I could just press the button and my hand would raise instead of having to like hold my finger over the button and then press it.
You can't win everybody.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
I
please
also
everyone.
preferred when everybody was at the bottom, not at the side.
Well, there is a mode if you go to more actions, you can move everybody to the top, to be at the line of the top, but no more bottom people.
Okay, Talia, can you
Yeah, I
actually?
preferred it at the bottom.
Okay.
You're
Did you freeze for
frozen.
anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's frozen. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
hello?
Sorry.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, yeah, my Teams is being strange. I hope I don't get cut out again. Anyways, I don't know if you caught what I said, but Talia, I made your presenter. Would you share your screen and show us how to change around all those like Teams preferences?
Yeah,
It looks
Thanks.
really interesting.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Like everyone's face goes really wonky for like a minute. Not a minute, like 30 seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You go to more actions, and then you go to gallery at top, and then,
And then the
everybody's
face.
at the top.
Oh,
And then you
that's
go back
weird.
and unclick it.
And
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, it's
Then you
pretty
can't
weird.
see like the full, like all the people that turn their cameras on. You only see like half of what you would see normally.
Weird. Okay, well, that's strange. And mine has not changed yet, probably because I haven't restarted my computer yet.
I haven't restarted my computer and it's changed.
Mine hasn't changed yet.
I think because if you restart your Teams, it changes. If you don't, it doesn't
yeah.
matter if you restart your whole computer. If you
Oh.
just
I
have
restart my
Teams,
computer like every night when I like put my computer away. So,
I don't.
but I also had to restart it like 4 times because my entire computer was sideways. So it was weird.
Julius, I saw your hand go up many times.
Oh yeah, I was just seeing. I think somebody said that you have to hold it to raise your hand. I don't think that's true. You just have to go over the what is it, like the 5 reactions, and then it like automatically shows all 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
You just
it just means now there's more buttons instead of just pressing the button. You have to. There's more steps. It's slightly more.
but there's
inconvenient.
reactions. Before you could only just
Have you ever
hit
used
and
it? I don't think I've used the reactions.
is there more than just thumbs up, heart, clapping,
No.
and laughing?
No.
This one's for the chat. But
Raise hand, laugh, applause, heart, like.
That's the same as before.
Well, yeah, I don't think we were talking about. I thought we were saying like way before it became like reaction.
Yeah, so funny, when you guys were like, oh, I liked the old way better. My husband actually works on Microsoft Word as a software person, and he says that whenever changes come out with Word, like whenever they push out a change, literally they get so many messages, so many emails, so many calls the day after with people being like, wait, where is this thing now? And, oh, I don't like this, right? So many complaints for like the first week or two after the change. And then at some point, people kind of forget that the change happened. And you go on. Yeah, Talia?
Change doesn't become a change
There
anymore.
should be a way that people can unupdate or just like keep their computer at its current state. But I mean, that could have its downfalls because then you wouldn't be able to like connect with people.
Yeah, I think the
But for
problem...
those hard people who like want the old versions.
Right. I think the problem is partially because like when you release an update, it's not always just like cosmetic, right? It's not just how it looks and how you interact with the buttons and stuff. The changes also include like bug fixes from the older version. So you want, for the most part, like the newest updates so that any potential bugs are fixed, right? And you don't have tech issues. So, it's one of those, what do they call it? It's a double-edged sword. We're using so many good, like, idioms today. Okay. Well, anyways, hi guys. Happy Thursday. To be ready for today's class, please make sure that you have OneNote open, and if you can log into Hoopla now. Save yourself some time later. Have Hoopla logged in. One thing I will say, if you haven't been on Hoopla in a couple of days, it's possible that Miss Marvel was automatically returned, because I think the way Hoopla works is that it resets your checked out items like every month, I think at the start of every month. So it's possible that you'll just have to quickly, type in Miss Marvel no normal, choose the option that has, the half of her head plus the shirt with the lightning bolt. Make sure you pick that volume and check it out again. And there shouldn't be any issues with checking it out a second time. Yeah, so if you're using Hoopla, make sure that you open that up at this point so that you're ready to go. Today, what are we going to do? We're going to take attendance really quick, and we're going to read the second issue of Miss Marvel, which I'm excited about. It's a good issue. Then I just have a couple of comprehension questions to ask about the second issue to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're tracking and we're understanding what's happening. And then at the very end, hopefully there'll be at least 5 minutes left over, and I'll keep all of the remote students in the meeting, and if you're an in-person student today, then you'll be able to leave a little bit early. So that's what's going on today. We'll start with attendance. Let me just pull up. Okay. So please unmute yourself. Tell me you're here. Simon?
Here.
No, it's loading. I'm sorry. Okay, Will. Dipper. Isaac.
Here.
Oscar.
Here.
Jack. Damien.
Here.
Zach.
Here.
Greta.
Here.
Sebastian.
Here.
Taha. Adele.
Here.
Gwen.
Here.
Emma.
Here.
Talia.
Here.
Dylan.
Here.
Chloe.
Here.
Ace.
Here.
Griffin. Jeevan.
Here.
Tova.
Here.
Aaron.
Here.
Elise.
Here.
Avery.
Here.
Elsa.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Julius.
Here.
Marie. Simone.
Here.
Gabby.
Here.
And Lillian. Okay.
Here.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. For some reason it says that you're missing. So I don't know what's up with that, Lillian. I'll have to email about that, I guess. Yes, Ace.
Do you think we can do one of the sticky notes?
In the Teams meeting?
Yeah, why not?
We don't have time for it today, but I can make time for it on Monday, okay?
Okay.
Good suggestion. Yeah, for those of you who are maybe like 100% remote, we've been playing Would You Rather in class, and it gets very heated. It's very heated. Okay, so today what we're going to do first is read that second issue of Ms. Marvel. You have a couple options, a couple different ways to read it. Your first and honestly the best way to read this today is going to be on Hoopla. So if you can, if your login works and all of that, log in, open up that first issue, or sorry, open up Ms. Marvel. The second issue starts on page 24, and then it goes to page 45. Okay, so it starts on page 24, and it goes to page 45. So page 24 looks like that. If you're on that page, perfect. That's exactly where you should be. If Hoopla is not working, then you can always access the one that's on OneNote. You're going to have to click Contents Library, and then click Ms. Marvel, and then click Issue 2. Okay, so Issue 2 is there. I've uploaded it. The quality's not that good, which is why I suggested Hoopla. Lastly, if none of those are working for you for whatever reason, there's also a video version. So Miss Sterling recorded this video. I'm going to copy and paste the link in the chat. So you can listen to it that way if you need. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to put a timer on the screen put it up for like 16 minutes and give us a good long chunk of time to read this next issue of Ms. Marvel. Did you have a question, Simon?
I was just wondering which page we should be on, and then, because I remember we left off on one page, and I saw that page was a different page. But yeah.
So this right here is the last page of issue 1, which I think this is page 20
on the first page.
Yes. And so page 24 is the first page of issue 2. Okay. So here we go. I'm setting a timer for 16 minutes. And let's read.
Sorry, what panel did we end on?
We ended on this one, which is page 24 on Hoopla.
Which one do we end on this time?
Oh, sorry, 45.
When are we supposed to stop?
We're just reading issue 2, so that's, if you're on Hoopla, that's through page 45, and I posted a picture of what page 45 looks like in the chat.
Okay.
I see 5 likes on the comment in the chat that asks if you've finished reading the second issue. If you have, but didn't like that comment, can you go do that, please, just so I have a sense of where we're at as a class? Okay. Alright, I'm seeing 17 right now, but I think it's my team's just taking a little bit of time to update. Hopefully most of us have read that entire issue at this point. If that wasn't enough time for you, it's okay. No pressure to like totally finish the issue right now. We're going to talk about the first sort of part of that issue. Mostly just to check and make sure, like, are we understanding what's happening in the comic? Are we tracking? Are we making good sense of it? Where are we at, right? So I just have a couple of questions about the second issue. So we'll talk about those, and then it won't take very long. And then we'll move on to what else I have planned for today. So I guess my first question, after reading that second issue of Ms. Marvel, what sort of powers does she have? She transformed in issue 1, but in issue 2 we started to get to see like just the extent, or I guess the beginning of the extent of her powers. So Simon, what kind of powers does she have?
Grow and shrink on command.
Yeah. She can grow, she can shrink.
Sort
She's
of.
shrunken.
Not really on command, but it can be.
With practice. Yeah. So she kind of like accidentally shrinks down to like really tiny size, and there's a panel where she's like super afraid of a giant cockroach. And then she can grow, right? And I think she ends up growing her hand to be able to scoop Zoe, who has fallen into the lake. She can scoop her out and save her from drowning. So in that sort of first scene where Zoe was drowning, she saves her, and then Kamala is walking back towards the city. What is she quickly realizing about being a superhero, about like being Captain Marvel? What sort of reactions or reflections is she having about this whole like being transformed into a superhero thing? Yeah, Dylan.
That she can like save lives and she could keep doing it. She could keep saving lives.
Yeah, so I think part of her is like there's some excitement in being able to save lives. I think where is it? There's a line where she's like, oh, there's this ayah from the Quran that my dad always quotes when there's something bad on TV. Whoever kills one person, it's as if he's killed all of mankind. And whoever saves one person, it's as if he saved all of mankind. So yeah, there's definitely this sense of like responsibility, maybe kind of excitement in getting to do that. Chloe, what else is she reflecting and realizing about? Maybe I asked that question.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
You hear me?
Yes.
I just want to say you're really glitchy for me, so can I leave and come back?
Oh, sure. Simon, are you going to answer the question? What else is Kamala realizing about being a superhero?
Well, she's realizing that being a superhero has its like responsibilities and how it's not always good things that come from being a superhero.
Yeah, but like maybe it's not going to be all that it's cracked up to be, right? There are a couple of panels where she's like, I thought if I had amazing hair and if I could pull off the great boots, if I could fly, that would make me feel happy. But the hair gets in my face, and the boots pinch, and the leotard is giving me a wedgie, right? Like she's realizing maybe it's not all that glamorous, right? And it's tiring. Okay. My last reading comprehension question. How do her parents find out about her sneaking out, and what's their reaction? Zach.
Kamala's friend Bruno was like worried about her because she left the party, and so like they called her parents.
Yeah, Bruno calls her parents because he's worried about her, so it comes from a good place. But how do the parents react when they find out she's been at this party against their explicit wishes? How do those parents react? Ooh, quiet. I feel like we can get a sense of how they react by even just looking. Even if we just like read their body language and their faces and all of that. I love this panel so much. When her brother's like, oh, you're okay? Well, in that case, you're screwed because Abu and Ami know that you snuck out, right? Like, we can read on their faces that they're mad, disappointed, and I think they ground her. So, yeah, definitely not pleased. And I think a little bit confused, too. Like, they're not sure what's going on with her. But Kamala doesn't even know what's going on with her, so. Okay. The last question that I had on here is just something to think about. We're not necessarily going to answer it today, but I think that when Kamala says this, it very much reflects some of the major themes that are going to come up in this comic. In the middle of issue 2, Kamala says, maybe putting on a costume doesn't make you brave. Maybe it's something else, right? So she's like walking into the city and she says this sort of to herself. And she doesn't really answer, right? She doesn't really say what that something else is. She's just kind of mulling it over, pondering it. This right here, maybe putting on a costume doesn't make you brave. Maybe it's something else. This idea will come up a lot, right? Like, what does it mean to be a superhero? What does it mean to be brave? What does it mean to, like, have these responsibilities? And is Kamala even, does she feel like she's capable of even doing that? All of that is going to make multiple appearances throughout the first couple issues. Okay. So that was issue 2. We're going to continue to talk about issue 2 in the next day or so, or the next time we have class, so on Monday. Today. I think at this point I'm going to split us up to the people who are the people who are going to be in person this afternoon and the people who are going to be remote students. A quick note to all you in-person people. Today, you should bring your graphic novel because you'll have time to work on the April IRP, and if you finish the packet, you can submit it right away. So make sure you bring your graphic novel so you can do that. Secondly, if you're coming in person today and you have drawing supplies and you like drawing, maybe you have markers or color pencils that you like using, I would suggest you bring those because part of what we did today is going to be drawing related. And if you don't really care for color and color pencils, it's not a big deal. You don't have to use them, but if you want that stuff, bring it. Okay, so that's for the in-person people. At this point, I will let our in-person people leave. So I will call it.
Admin.
So we're going to move to the academic portion of our class now. What is a calorie? Very important to know. You see calories, hear about them all the time. I have a little packet of mango here. You can see on the back it says calories, 130 per serving. I have this fine seltzer water, 0 calories. It says, what does that even mean? So you can either write in the chat or you can raise your hand. I'll call on you. What is a calorie? Does anyone know? Well, I'm sure many of you know, let's go upon it all. Calorie is a unit of energy. How we measure it. How much energy is in the food. So when you hear something contains 100 calories, it's a way of describing how much energy your body can get from eating it or drinking it. And you can see this little slice of pizza here. That is calories. That's how much energy is contained in that little slice of pizza right there. Different foods contain different amounts of energy. Alright? So you can see all these bell peppers. The place is completely full. Well, bell peppers don't have that much energy in them. Alright? That's 100 calories right there. There's not a lot of energy. And most of the water, actually. Cheese, though. Look at those little chunks of cheese. Cheese is very energy dense. So you can see just a couple tiny pieces of cheese equals 100 calories. Or this spoon of peanut butter, right? Not that much on there, but peanuts have a lot of energy in them. So you can see a little spoon is 100 calories. Alright? So we're going to expand our knowledge on calories now. This wonderful video explaining a little bit depth about calories. And I'm sure many of you already know this. It's good to reinforce our knowledge. Maybe learn something a little bit new. We have a better understanding of what we're eating and how we're eating. And understand our bodies a little bit more.
We hear about calories all the time. How many calories are